looking at the 12 qualities of a spiritual warrior. 12 qualities of a spiritual warrior. Why are we looking at this? A devotee is a devotee. You know? When you're a devotee, you're a devotee. What did they use looking at the quality of qualities? It's important because we know things by the qualities. We can distinguish something from another object because of the qualities. You say this is eyeglass and say this is recorder. They have different qualities. Both are objects. But because of their qualities, one can distinguish from each other. This is recorder because it will take your voice. Whatever you say, it will enter here. But it don't enter with eyeglass. So there's a difference. The difference is in quality. The materials are the same. The materials are the same. Both are material elements. But how they are assembled bring difference. So the eyeglass, it will help us to see better, but the recorder will not help us to see. So there is difference. And when we are talking about a leader, we are expecting certain qualities to be seen. We want to see certain things. Why we want to see them? Because a leader who has these qualities will naturally give confidence to the subject. Especially when you know the strength of your friend, of your father. You have more appreciation, you have more love for the person. You have more confidence. If I know that you cannot protect me, I will not give you my confidence. If I know that you are not a good teacher, I would not like to go to your class. Because I will naturally feel I'm going to waste my time. If I go, I'm not going to learn anything. So why should I go there? So people look at, okay, what this college, who are the teachers? What is the record of this school? What is the record? Oh, anyone who graduates from this school, you have automatic employment, right? Yeah, okay, this is the school I want to go. Because if I go this school, I will not have difficulty getting employment. This school, all the graduates from this school, they're still hanging in the street looking for job. Nobody would like to go to that school. The quality is important. So we want to look at the qualities that a leader should have. And who is a leader? Among all of us here, who among us is a leader? Who among all of us is a leader? Who among us is a leader? Did you get my question?
Does you have these 12 qualities?
These are these qualities. Everyone is a leader. Every devotee is a leader. Who is a leader?
Who can someone has to allow to come up and afford him to come up.
Yeah, one who can pull others up. That's a leader. Actually, all of us here, we are all leaders in different capacities. And therefore, as a devotee, we are expected to have this quality. The difference is that some have developed it, and some of us are trying to develop them. Some are in the process of developing them. But as devotee of Krishna, all of us um, leaders. And therefore, these qualities is expected to be seen in us. So we have the list of them here, 12, and we would like to go through them and hoping that we will practice them and develop these qualities. And a leader should have sense control. A leader should be self-controlled. And most especially, mastery of the mind. So you see in the control of the senses, and then specifically mention control of the mind. Which of them is the most important? Controlling the mind and controlling the senses, which is the most important? Which one is greater? The mind. One who has control over the mind, you will automatically have control over other senses. So Narada Muni, he gave details about, but in Bhagavatam, Narada Muni is teaching the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, and Narada Muni gave detail about this sense control. Why is it important for us to control the senses? Why is it important for us to control the senses? We have senses. Whatever we have should be used. You have recorder, use it to record, is it not? Is it not true? No. You have eyes, eyeglass, use it to see. Use eyeglass. What is the need for controlling the senses? Why should we control the senses? Why should we control the mind? Why is it necessary to control the mind and control the senses? Why is it necessary?
To avoid the sin. To avoid the sin.
Avoid the sins. Good.
Focus on our goal.
Can focus on the goal. Good. Why is it necessary for us to control the senses? Why is it necessary?
So that we can be stable.
So can be stable. If you control the senses, then we'll be stable.
If you don't control the senses, then they'll control us.
If you don't control the senses, they will control us. Yeah, that's okay now. We are being controlled in this material. So that's okay. After all, the scriptures say we are not the master. We are servant of Krishna. So, well, yeah, senses, we are not the master now. Krishna is the master. So we already have someone controlling us. So there's no need for me to control my senses. I'm already a servant. So even if I'm a servant of my senses, okay. Is it not?
Then naturally they will take up to death. The senses, they will take up to death. Like we
the senses will take us to death.
In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in one place, even the senses if attracted by even one senses if attracted by the sense object.
Can delude us.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is an obstacle for our spiritual progress.
Yes. So let us understand this very carefully. In the 7th canto, chapter 5, text 30 and 31, Prahlad Maharaj is speaking, and he used the word Adanta Gubi Bishatam. Adanta Gubi Bishatam Tamishra. If we don't control our senses, the senses will take us to hell. We'll go to hell. Adanta Gubi Bishatam Tamishra. Puna Charvana Anam. We'll go to hell if you don't control the senses. And Bhagavad Gita Krishna told us what? One who does not control the senses is always in trouble. Always in trouble. One who has no control over the senses, is always in trouble. We're slaves to the senses. And that is the enemy. The enemy that everyone has in this world is our uncontrolled mind. The mind tells us that this is your enemy. This person does not like you. How do you know? How do you know that this person does not like me? It doesn't like you. Huh? How do you know that this person doesn't like you?
Mind tells us.
The mind. It's the mind who is telling that. It's the mind. Because has the person seen you? Has that person seen you? Eh? Have that person ever seen you? I'm asking you. Eh? So how can he hate you? The person have not seen you, how can the person hate you? Right? The person have not seen. What we have been seeing is the body, not the self. It's a body. I'm seeing your body, you are seeing my body. You never see me, I never see you. So how can I hate you? It's a body, the activity of the body, we are interacting. We are interacting with the body. Or different bodies. But the mind tells us that this person doesn't like you. This person is your enemy. This person is against you. How do you know that? So we are acting foolishly because the mind tells us to. Uncontrolled mind is very dangerous. The mind tells us something is very good today. Tomorrow the same mind will tell that thing is very bad. You are such a fool. Why do you get such a bad thing? You are a fool. The same mind will say that. But today the mind said, if you don't get this, you cannot be happy. In fact, you're not happy because you don't have this. If you get this, this red Toyota car, if you have it, you'll be 100% happy and satisfied. If you get it tomorrow, the mind will say you're a fool. Don't you see this Peugeot is here? You don't see this Peugeot here. You don't see the Rolls Royce. You don't see? Why should you go for this lady's car? Are you a lady? The Toyota is for lady. Why you go for this? You're a fool. You're a poor man. You have no money, so you have to go. You didn't have to buy this car. So you have a car that people will envy you. Who is going to envy you for having a Toyota car? So you have Rolls Royce, then people will envy you. When you pass in the street, you'll be envied. To be envied is a pride. So for Kali Yuga, it's a pride to be. I saw one advert one day. It's a very big billboard and very high in the sky, very big. Just get this car so they can be envied, and people will rush for them, buy the car. Not because they need the car. Not because they need the car. It's because the mind says it's good for you. And when the mind, one devotee, I told one devotee, he was telling me, I've been hearing of Kadasi, but I've never fasted Dhira Kadasi before. So I don't know how it is. I say, Prabhu, it is very good. If you do it, be very happy, be satisfied. It brings a lot of purification. You will not die. If you do, you will not die. But if your mind tells you that you will die, then don't do it. Because you will die. The mind has convinced you that if you don't eat in a day, you will die. How can that happen? That don't eat? No, it doesn't happen. You will die. If you fast, you will die. Because the mind has already convinced you about it. So he fasted. The next day he called me. I said, oh, Prabhu, whom am I speaking with? I was joking. They call him. I said, "Oh, I told you died." He said, "No, I'm not dead." I said, "I told you you will not die." Because the mind was off of the conviction that you die if you fast. The mind is dead. The mind is off. He successfully did the fasting. So from that day on, he's doing 𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐝𝐥𝐲, which is very, very, very good. So the mind is like that, always accepting and rejecting. Always. That's the nature of the mind. It's accepting and rejecting, not steady. So the mind is just like a child, a baby. Mataji can tell us, right? How the child is, everything in the hand goes, everything, right? And then everything a child takes is what? Everything a child takes is what? Everything the child takes is what? Is food. Everything, knife is food. Poison is, anything a child takes is food. So this is how our mind works. Restless and frivolous. But an experienced person knows that microphone is not for eating, or cell phone is not for eating. But for a child, it is food. That's the mind. Therefore, for anyone to be successful in Krishna consciousness, even in chanting our holy name, the holy name of Krishna, which we have vowed to do, if you want to be successful, please neglect the mind. If you want to be successful, disobey the mind. If you don't disobey the mind, if you don't neglect the mind, you will not be successful in chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Because the mind will disturb. So neglecting the mind and disobeying the mind is very good quality for chanting. And that will take us to the success of chanting Hare Krishna. This is the way we can control the mind. And the third thing to do with the mind is to trick the mind. Trick the mind. How do we do that? Don't tell the mind you want to chant 16 rounds. If you tell the mind 16 rounds, 16! What about your homework? What about the job? What about all these important things? What about that? 16. How long will it take you to finish this? Yeah, it's too far. The mind will do this. And you will see that the 16 round will be dragging the whole day. Because the mind has so many other things for you. If you don't neglect the mind, if you don't disobey the mind, if you don't trick the mind, you won't succeed. You will not succeed. So there's a need to control our senses, to control the mind. The mind is very, very powerful. Intelligence is controlled by passion. The mind is controlled by goodness. Which one is better? The mind is goodness. Intelligence is passion. The senses is ignorance. Therefore, you see that the mind influences intelligence sometimes. Of course, intelligence is supposed to control the mind, but the mind controls the intelligence. Because the mind is powerful. To succeed, we have to practice these three things. Neglect, disobey, and trick the mind. So trick the mind. Just like a baby, if you don't want a child to disturb you, just give him a toy. It's a trick, right? It's a child will be very, very busy with that. So if you trick the mind also, then the mind will give you a chance to chant Hare Krishna or to hear. Many devotees does not hear Even though we sit in the class, we don't hear. Why? Why we don't hear? Because the mind is engaged somewhere. The mind is fully engaged somewhere in something which is attracting the mind. That means that our job is not attracting the mind. Our hearing is not attracting the mind. Or the subject matter is not attracting the mind. So the mind is going to something which is attractive to the mind. So if you want to do something, you have to make the mind be convinced that this is very attractive thing. Therefore, Prabhupada use the word eagerness. Eagerness. If you're not eager to do something, the mind will not be attracted to it. If you are eager for something, you are very, very eager for something, the mind will be there. So the reason why we don't hear is because what we are discussing, what we are hearing is not attracting the mind. We have not made the subject attractive to the mind. So the mind is going to something which is attractive, which the mind finds. And you must see anything which is attractive to the mind for a long time, except something which we do not need. Something which we don't need that will be attractive to the conditioned mind. Someone is buying 17,000 hand wash. Why that? 17,000 hand wash. One person is buying that 17,000, and now there's scarcity. Why is that? The mind has convinced the person that if you don't buy this, it will finish. And when the virus is not yet dead and you don't have the hand wash, what will happen? You will die. The mind has convinced the person, fully convinced. Therefore, one person is buying 17,000 hand wash. How long this virus is going to last? For 17 years? Huh? One person is buying that. The mind has convinced the person. You have to protect yourself, and your protection is? Who's your protection? Hand wash, not Krishna. Krishna is not your protector. Your protector is hand wash. Therefore, hand wash. Go for it. This is the mind. This is how powerful the mind is. The mind has convinced us that you are going to die. The moment you get the virus, you die. And people are dying out of fear, not out of the virus. People are suffering because of the mind, not because of the virus. So therefore, there is a need to control the mind, to control the senses. The scripture says we'll be goddess, meaning one who is controlled by the senses. We don't have control over the senses. The senses are controlling us. We are slaves. We are slaves, and we will simply suffer unnecessarily. If we don't control the senses, we don't control the mind, we will suffer unnecessarily. We are going to act against our self-interest, always. We will always act against our self-interest. This is what is going on in my travel. We are doing so many things that we don't need. People are buying so many things that we don't need. They don't need. One person has 2,000 toys for his baby. 2,000 toys for one child. The child is going to live for 2,000 years. For one child is having 2,000 toys. But because the mind has convinced, a child needs this. A baby needs this. What do you have the money for? So you're going for 2,000 toys. The suffering, if you don't control the senses, you don't control the mind, you suffer unnecessarily. So a devotee should learn how to control the senses, how to control the mind. If we don't want to suffer unnecessarily, control the mind, control the senses. The second quality is humility. Humility. Humility is very simple. It's a simple word which everybody uses every day. Humility. But it's not easy to develop. It's easy word. Everybody uses it. Humility, humble, tenor, peace with each other. But not easy to develop the quality of humility. But this is the quality of a leader. Why a leader need to be humble? Why? A leader should be authority. You should be authority, should be in control. Everybody should surrender to you. But why you should need the humility as a leader? Why is it important for a leader to be humble? Why is it important for a leader to be humble? A leader should be arrogant, should be proud, should be authoritative, should be an autocrat. Otherwise, people will not respect your government. People will override you if you're not a boss. You may be a boss, commanding everybody. It should be commanding. But here we see the opposite. A leader should be humble. So why there is a need for humility?
There are two ways of following someone, by fear or by love. Those who are humble will follow by love.
If you're humble, you get love from your people. Very good. What else?
If the leader is humble, then he will not get affected by the misbehavior of the followers.
If your leader is humble, you will not get affected by
the misbehavior of the followers.
The misbehavior of the followers. How is that? Misbehavior. Okay, yeah. As a leader, we should know this. As a leader, don't think that everybody will accept you and worship you and honor you. Don't expect that. Don't expect that. Yes, that's true. Yes. So a leader should be humble because in that way he will inspire everyone. Very good. Yes.
If someone is humble and leader, then he can judge a situation perfectly. So if there is a situation between people,
very
then
good.
He can judge. And
if a leader is humble, he will be very, very careful in dealing with every situation for the benefit of everyone. Very good. He'll be very careful. Yes. Arrogant person will not listen to anyone. Whatever they say, my way is the highway. Right? But a leader doesn't have this mentality. So if a leader is humble, you'll be able to listen to everyone attentively, identify what is the need of the people, and in this way you'll be able to help the people when you're not humble. Very good. If you're arrogant, what's your problem? That is a problem. I don't care. My way is best. Whatever I accept is the best. That is why we have so many leaders who are not leaders, they are cheaters. Because they're not humble. And because of this quality lacking in us, so many devotee leaders have displaced so many devotees. In the position, in the name of leadership, managing people, we have discouraged so many devotees. So many devotees are feeling very bitter because of being mistreated. We don't have the quality, the ability to listen to people. We don't care what is the feelings of other people. Whatever I feel is good, I just do it. That's not a leader, it's a boss. So it's good, yes. What else? Why a leader should be humble?
Without humility, one cannot accept the spiritual truth. And without that, what will you do?
If a leader is not humble, you don't accept,
Not access.
assess.
Spiritual truth.
You will not make progress because you are going to offend so many people. You will offend so many people if you are not humble. In the so-called, in the name of being a leader, so-called leader, you are not going to lead, but actually you are going to destroy yourself if you are not humble. Because you are going to offend so many people who will curse you instead of blessing you. Very good. What else? Why were leaders be humble? It is happening in our movement that so many devotees are not happy. So many devotees are serving with fear. So many devotees have no confidence in the leadership. So many devotees are very angry, which is not good for us. Why? We are not humble. Therefore, we are not taking care of the devotees with love. We are mistreating devotees. And that is affecting our leadership, which is wrong. We are representative, not boss. Yes, humility is necessary for a leader. Yes, what else?
Guru, you said yesterday humiliation will improve humility.
Yes. Humiliation will make us humble.
Makes us humble.
Yes.
So, leaders who are humiliated sometimes due to circumstances, and if they are not humble, they will make the situation worse and they will not learn something, then they will fall down. So,
Yes.
it's your point of view.
Yes. If a leader is not humble, you are in a dangerous position. In the Bhagavatam, and also in the Mahabharata, you hear about Maharaj Nahusha. Nahusha Maharaj in the Bhagavatam and also in the Mahabharata. Just they've narrated him in Mahabharata, and you find in Bhagavatam. Maharaj Nahusha is a devotee, is a spiritualist, a sadhu. And because of that, because of his spiritual practice and his advancement, the demigod approached him when Indra has difficulty with his guru and he fell down. The demigod approached him. Please come and be our Indra. He said, no, this is useless. Which is a sign of a person who is advancing Krishna consciousness. Naturally, you don't have interest in material things. So Nahusha Maharaj said, no, I'm not interested. They begged him, please, you are a sadhu. What is your duty as a sadhu? Is to help people. We need your help. So you should help us. So finally he accepted. Nahusha Maharaj was brought to the kingdom of Indra. When he saw the opulence, and he saw his disciples, 33 million disciples, automatically, you don't have to preach to make disciples. For him, he has already, he has automatic disciples already, who are fervently praying to him and serving him with all reverence. His spiritual austerity disappeared. When he saw the opulence, he saw the throne, So Nahusa Maharaj said, so you gave me this kingdom to rule with all of you, my disciples. How is this kingdom complete? A king is without a queen? A king is without a queen? No, there must be a queen. So bring the queen. I'm a king, so bring the queen. The demigod, they close their eyes. We have made a great mistake. There are so many ladies here, you cannot marry anyone. Is someone's wife you want? Out of fear, they didn't tell him this, but this naturally comes to the mind. But Nahusa said, bring Indra's wife to me. When our spiritual practice is not mature, when our foundation, the foundation of our bhakti is not strong, we are going to be affected by anything that comes negatively. When our spiritual foundation is not strong, we should be aware we are going to be the first casualties. Whenever there is difficulty, we are going to be one that will be most affected. Just like whenever there is an epidemic disease, those who have a weak immune system, they will be the first people to get the disease. But those whose immune system is very strong, they will survive. Similarly, those who have a strong immune system, no problem will shake them. Just like if you have the foundation of your house is strong, the wind cannot blow it down. If the foundation of your house is not strong, a simple thing, your building will be the first to collapse. In our spiritual life, if our foundation, our practice is not strong, we are casualties. Every little problem will be affected. So although Nahusa was practicing very nicely, but he was not strong. Therefore, he was affected by the position. He said, bring Indra's wife to me. That's what I want. Am I a king? Am I a king? Yes, bring the wife, bring the queen. The demigod was in anxiety. We thought we have resolved this problem, but now we have entered into a bigger problem. How can any one of us think of bringing Indra's wife to? They were not expecting that, but this happened. There's no humility. If there's no humility, we are in a dangerous position. If you're not humble, we are seriously in trouble. It's very easy for us to fall without any difficulty if you're not humble. So the problem became very, very tense. And he forced them. They forced them. So reluctantly they approached Sachi Devi. And they said, this is a problem. Just upon hearing that, she cried, how can this happen? How can I do this? This is not Vedic. She cried. And as a devotee, when you have difficulty, what to do? When you have difficulty as a devotee, if you are a bona fide disciple, if you have difficulty, what to do?
Go to Guru.
Tell the special master. So Sachi Devi went to Brihaspati. She see my situation, protect me, Gurudev, protect me, protect me. But Brihaspati looked at the situation, he said, oh, he is already in problem. He had not started management yet. He never been started. He has already fallen into a problem. So Brihaspati said, don't worry. Don't worry. How do you punish what is the best way to punish a person? The best way to punish someone who has no control over the senses. Give him a big post. Make him a king over everybody. He will fall down. He will not last for 2 days. Somebody. Sometimes we are giving position in Christian consciousness. We are thinking that is my merit. It is not. That is a chance for us to get destroyed. That's the punishment. If you are not a devotee, if you are not a strong devotee, if you are not a strong devotee, a serious devotee, position is very dangerous.